Welcome to the Hinterlands. This weekly show whips together stories from the hinterlands of Nepal. Takes you beyond the cities and highways into the heart of Nepal's rural landscapes. It's a country alive with stories, laughter, ideas, and everyday magic. I'm Rosina Rai, and we will be leading you into this journey every week. Welcome back again. We begin today's episode of the Hinterlands with a report of late January snowfall that has blanketed high hilly and mountainous regions, turning much of the parts of the country into a winter wonderland. The snowfall has brought much needed relief to high altitude areas, raising hopes for stronger winter crops, also bringing joy to farmers and local tourists. Details in this report. As January draws to a close, widespread snowfall has blanketed Nepal's high mountainous and hilly region. The fresh snow has drawn tourists to popular destinations, while farmers across the areas have welcomed the precipitation after a dry spell. The snowfall and accompanying rain have increased soil moisture, offering partial relief to winter crops that had suffered due to a lack of precipitation. Heavy and continuous snowfall has been reported in several high-altitude districts of the country, including Manang, Humla, and Bajura. The sudden change in the weather condition has disrupted daily life in the western hilly districts. Snowfall that began Tuesday night has blocked sections of mid-hill highway, while rain and snow continue to affect transportation and normal activities. Mustang district has experienced heavy snowfall, leaving hills and mountains covered in thick snow. The Kagbeni-Korala roadway, a key route in the region, has been closed due to adverse weather, with snow accumulating up to 2 feet in some areas. Meanwhile, northern parts of Gorkha have also witnessed snowfall since Tuesday night, turning the Himalayas, high hills and villages white. In Raswa district, thick snow covered upper regions, while lower areas received light rainfall. Several areas including Gosaikunda, Langtang, Lauribina, Dhunse Lake have been most affected. Meanwhile, Department of Hydrology and Meteorology has warned that heavy snowfall in Nepal's high Himalayan regions has increased the risk of avalanches and other weather-related hazards. Trekkers and tourists have been advised to be cautious. After that snowfall report from the highlands, we now move to the lower belt of the country, Kapilvastu, where the vibrant colors of Rangoli become a powerful medium of expression, culture, and women's empowerment. Let's take a look at how red, yellow, and green are used metaphorically to the power, happiness, and the growth.
Red, yellow, green. These colored powders may seem ordinary, but here they carried the confidence of women claiming their space through art. With the aim of empowering women through the promotion of Awadh region painting and ground art, a Rangoli competition was organized in Tauli Hawa, the district headquarters of Kapilvastu. Artists used colored powders on the ground to create Rangoli artworks depicting Ram Temple, Goddess Sita, and Lord Ram, focused on promoting Awadh painting and ground art while strengthening women's participation in cultural expression. The program hosted artists from 11 different groups.
यो प्रतियोगिताले केवल कपिलवस्तु नगरपालिकाभित्र लुकेका प्रतिभालाई मात्रै बाहिर नल्याई छिमेकी पालिकामा रहेको प्रतिभालाई समेटेर अगाडि ल्याएको कारणले पनि वास्तव यो संस्थालाई म विशेष धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु, जसमा चाहिँ हामीले अवधि लोक चित्रकला, अवधि लोक कलालाई चाहिँ प्रस्तुत गरिएको छ।
तपाईहरुले यहाँ हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ अब उहाँले चाहिँ देखाउनुहुन्छ डिफ्रेन्ट ग्रुपले 11 जनाको ग्रुपले डिफ्रेन्ट चाहिँ रङ्गोली बनाछन् अनि त्यो रङ्गोलीमा चाहिँ झल्काउने कोसिस के छ भने अवधि हाम्रो जुन हिस्टोरिकल एउटा एन्सियन्ट अवधि लोक कलालाई प्रस्तुत गर्ने चाहिँ कोसिस गरिएको छ।
The organizers also adjudged the winners and rewarded accordingly with cash prize and certificates. The event also marked 2 years since the consecration of infant form of Lord Ram, Sri Ram Lalla in Ayodhya, India. It added cultural and religious significance to the women-led artistic celebration.
In the 21st century, as concerns grow over declining moral values in education, a new initiative from Nepal's Sangja district is drawing attention. Local schools have begun introducing values-based education by distributing the Bhagavad Gita, aiming to promote responsibility, respect, and ethical awareness among students across the region. More in this report.
As education systems worldwide prioritize areas such as science, technology, and academic competitiveness, there is also a growing need for complementary curricula focused on moral and values-based education. In Nepal, moral and values-based education is often included within subjects such as social studies, life skills, and citizenship-related education. However, it is not yet a compulsory subject in the national curriculum, leaving room for localized initiatives to supplement ethical learning. In a country as culturally and religiously diverse as Nepal, one such initiative from Sangja district in mid-western Nepal focuses on moral education at the school level. The campaign distributes the Bhagavad Gita in schools and encourages students to reflect on ethical behavior.
विद्यार्थीहरुमा साथै यो आम जनसमुदायमा पनि नैतिकताको खडेरी परेको हामीले चाहिँ देख्न सुन्न र त्यो भोगेका पनि छौं। त्यसैलाई पनि निर्मूल पार्ने उद्देश्यका साथ हामीले यो गीता वितरण अभियानलाई चाहिँ अगाडि बढाएका हौं।
The Gita is an ancient philosophical text from South Asia, widely studied for its perspectives on duty, self-discipline, and ethical action. While rooted in the Hindu tradition, it is often approached as a guide to moral reasoning as well as religious instruction. Organizers say the initiative reinforces universal values such as responsibility, respect, and social harmony, principles they believe cut across cultures and belief systems. Under the One Household, One Gita campaign, more than 6,000 copies have already been distributed across the district.
पुस्तक वितरण गर्ने कार्यक्रम गरेका छौं। यसबाट विद्यार्थीहरुमा सच्चरित्रता, नैतिकता पलाएर जानेछ र उनीहरुभित्र एउटा सद्गुण वृद्धि हुनेछ भन्नेमा हामी आशावादी छौं।
By combining philosophical study with classroom discussion, organizers hope the initiative will help young people develop ethical awareness and habits that extend beyond school, contributing to a more respectful, responsible, and cohesive society.
Now let's talk about a unique blend of heritage and practicality in central Nepal, where communities are turning their backs on modern plastic water tanks and reviving traditional stone and cement vessels, locally known as kaito.
As modern lifting technology and pipeline-fed tap systems reach the most remote corners of Nepal, ancient water storage traditions are being almost forgotten. But in Harina's rural municipality of Sangja, the narrative is shifting. Instead of abandoning their heritage for plastic alternatives, residents of Khairikot have launched a campaign to revive and repurpose traditional water jars known as kaitos. This shift is not just about saving money, but also about building a sustainable future by reviving the past. For decades, the hamlet of 108 households in Khairikot has been facing a crippling water shortage. Survival depended entirely on harvesting rainwater stored meticulously in large earthen jars constructed by hand. However, with a tradition to federalism, the local government implemented lifting technology, bringing pipeline-supplied water directly to every doorstep. While the taps brought relief, they also made the traditional kaitos disappear. Many expected the village to shift toward modern plastic storage, but the community had other plans. Recognizing the durability and cooling properties of the traditional jars, they have begun a systematic effort to treat and repurpose them as primary storage units for their new water supply.
अब घरको टिनबाट आकाश पानी सङ्कलन गरेर खाइन्थ्यो अनि चाहिँ त्यसले नै खानेपानी नै अब नपुग भएपछि हामीले युज गरिन्थ्यो भने अहिले चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ यो प्रत्येक घरमा धारा छ लिफ्टिङ खानेपानीको पानी चाहिँ हामीले एक्स्ट्रा भएको यहाँ चाहिँ स्टोर गरेर राखिन्छ।
The Khairikot model offers a blueprint for other districts, a way to utilize existing social resources to bridge the infrastructure gap without the environmental and financial cost of new materials. The revival of Khoito in Sangza serves as a reminder that progress doesn't always require replacing the old with the new.
We move on to our next report from the eastern hills of Nepal, where the traditional practice of raising chauri, a hybrid of yak and cow, is slowly declining. The downturn raises serious concerns as it threatens local livelihoods and puts at risk a long-standing farming legacy passed down through generations. In Nepal's high hilly and mountainous regions, chauri, a hybrid of yak and cow raising, has long been a vital part of their livelihoods. For generations, local communities in the upper areas of Bhojpur in eastern Nepal have relied on this practice to support their families. However, this traditional occupation has begun to face serious challenges over time. Farmers say that the growing shortage of grazing land is helping the sector toward extinction. During the monsoon season, chauri are taken to high-altitude pastures. In winter, they are brought down to village or farmlands as herders follow a seasonal migration pattern. While this system has sustained chauri raising for decades, recent restrictions imposed by the community forest on grazing have made it increasingly difficult for farmers to continue their work. Areas that once had hundreds of sheds now have only a few remaining.
हामीलाई अब चाहिने भनेको चरन क्षेत्र हो। अब चौरी गाई भनेको औले गाई अरु जस्तो अब घरमा लगेर बानेर त्यसलाई उ गर्ने खुवाउने उ पनि हुँदैन हैन। यो भनेको अब एक दिनमा 10-15 किलोमिटर भन्दा टाढा चर्न जान्छ। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि अब त्यो एकै ठाउँमा थोरै सानो ठाउँमा हुँदैन। त्यही भएर यो लोप हुने सम्भावना धेरै ठूलो छ।
Although the government has introduced subsidy programs to support chauri farmers, farmers say that the shortage of grazing land remains their biggest challenge. In recent years, youths in the district have shown interest in embracing chauri farming, but ongoing grazing restrictions have raised serious concerns about the long-term sustainability of the business. The age-old tradition that has been supporting the livelihood of the rural people is crying for support, and that is from all the sectors. Nepal's breadbasket, the Tarai Madhesh region, as usual, is bracing for drought in the dry season. Despite repeated assurances from leaders, indifference in allocating budget and lackluster performance of the underway irrigation projects has put farmers at stress at the peak wheat cultivation. Persistent drought and recurring irrigation problem during the peak plantation season in Nepal's Tarai region remains a challenge for many years. In 2025, Nepal government declared all 8 districts of the plains as a drought-hit zone and emphasized the need for long-term solutions. The government also promised immediate relief to address acute water shortages, food security, and agricultural distress. Despite these commitments, the Tarai region is once again facing the problem in early 2026. It has been attributed to a combination of environmental degradation, delayed infrastructure projects, and climate-induced water scarcity. Cultivation of wheat, the country's second most important staple crop after rice, is currently at a critical stage, and farmers are struggling to provide timely irrigation. In Dhanusa district, where rainfall is the only source of irrigation, farmers are managing using their own limited resources. Many have taken loans to install equipment and technology to irrigate wheat sprouts. Despite repeated government promises, farmers report that irrigation facilities, including deep borings, step borings, shallow tube wells, and traditional wells, have not been adequately maintained. Irrigation aside, shortages of chemical as well as organic fertilizers have added to farmers' burdens. Yet, farmers in Dhanusa continue cultivating wheat, highlighting both their resilience and the crop's importance to national food security. According to the Agriculture Development Center in Dhanusa, wheat has been planted in approximately 40,000 hectares of land, with an expected production of 120,000 metric tons this year. However, farmers fear that output may decline this year if the current challenges persist. As Nepal strives for food security and agricultural self-reliance, real solutions on the ground are urgently needed, not just promises on paper. The Hinterlands core is a commitment to give voice to people and communities long forgotten in the remote corners of the country. Fulfilling that duty, we have repeatedly brought their stories to the light. In our latest report, we turn our focus to one of Nepal's most marginalized indigenous communities, the Chepang. Kanchimaya Praja, 26-year-old from Hetora in central Nepal, was born with a congenital disability but has never received the social security allowance provided by the government for persons with disabilities. The reason is both simple and heartbreaking. She does not have a citizenship certificate or a disability identity card. Without these documents, the doors to her basic rights remain closed. Her story is just an example of the ongoing struggles faced by the Chepang community, which has a population of 84,364. Despite constitutional guarantees, many Chepang people continue to fight for basic rights. Nepal's federal system promised a new era of inclusion and equality, yet for many Chepang, life remains a daily challenge. They reflect a systematic challenge confronting the Chepang community. Many struggles to obtain essential documents such as birth certificates, marriage registration, disability IDs, and senior citizen cards. Even when individuals reach the eligible age, there is often no guidance or support to help them navigate the process. A survey by the National Human Rights Commission in Nepal's Makwanpur district found that around 9% of Chepang people lack citizenship.
एनजिओ आइएनजिओहरू पनि विभिन्न सेक्टरबाट चाहिँ यो चाहिँ हाम्रो चेपाङ समुदायमा कुपोषणको कुरा गरौँ, बालविवाहको कुरा गरौँ, यी सबै कुरा क्षेत्रमा काम गरिरहेको छ, तर यिनीहरूको चाहिँ त्यो नतिजा चाहिँ एकदम शून्य छ। यो नतिजा शून्य चाहिँ किन भइरहेछ भने उनीहरू सम्बन्धित समुदायमै पुग्न सकेको छैन के। खाली मात्रै सहर केन्द्रित र त्यसपछि सदरमुकाम केन्द्रित कार्यक्रम भयो।
The government has made efforts to address these gaps. In coordination with local and provincial authorities, federal programs have been launched targeting Chepang communities in areas such as education, health, livelihood, housing, and empowerment. Yet, awareness of these programs remains low. Central President of the Chepang Association highlights most initiatives under the government fail to reach families in remote areas. For citizens like Kanchimaya to fully enjoy the rights promised by the Constitution, the state must go beyond policy announcements. Door-to-door information campaigns and community-based monitoring systems are essential to ensure that no one is left behind. Beyond the cities and the headlines, real lives continue to unfold. Stories shaped by struggle, strengthened by resilience, and carried forward by hope. This is the Hinterland, and we will be back next week with more stories from the heart of Nepal. This is Rosina Rai here again. Goodbye for now.